is the Fade 5 Podcast with Brad Evans and Nate Lundy.
Place your bets, yes, jackwagons. Brad the Big Noise Evans here, joined by the good sir, Nathaniel Lundy. Tis indeed another edition of the Fade 5. The All-Star Game is nearly upon us in Indianapolis, Indiana, as the East and West are going to go toe-to-toe. We got all the glitz, the glam, the festivities underway. I love the All-Star events every NBA season. So without further ado, I think you might have a selection in that, Lundy. Let's hop aboard the Honk Honk Plus Bus with tickets in hand. What wager plus 100 odds or greater are you eyeing? And it is indeed in the NBA's main event.
Let's go to SGA, Mr.
Oh, yeah.
Evans, and I will take it. Are you telling me I can have him at 14-1 odds to win the All-Star Game MVP? I think Jokic has the regular season one in his back pocket right now. And I think he's going to win his third in 4 years. In all honesty, I think it should be his fourth in a row, but we will discuss that another time. But if you play with the odds makers, they will tell you number 2 on that regular season list is SGA. And I think he wants to come out, show something in the Indianapolis, as Charles Barkley would say. So I'm going to take SGA just because I like this value, Brad. This isn't going to be a big bet for me. I'm not doing a full unit. I'm just going to sprinkle something in on this because I think it's hard to predict in the All-Star Game. But this is a guy that's been showing out all season. You and I have made some money, so have the followers of the Fade 5 throughout the year with SGA. He's been putting on a great show. Like I said, I don't think he's going to get it for the regular season, but it wouldn't surprise me if he has the hardware come Sunday.
Yeah, I think it's a great call. At 1,400? Oh, I mean, that's definitely worth a sprinkle, no question about it. All right, I'm going to go the Friday night college basketball hardwood in the Ivy League, the future check writers of America. Let's go with Cornell on SGP, and a simple little two-legger here, and I built this sucker. By the way, a BetMGM. Give me Cornell on the money line, and give me Cornell for 85 or more points scored against Harvard at plus 145 on that simple two-legger there at BetMGM. These two teams already faced one another, and Cornell won with ease and inside Harvard's venue, and they scored 89 points in that game. In fact, Cornell, one of the best offensive teams in the entire country at home this season. They are number 4 nationally in EFG offense, and a team that is numero uno in 2-point percentage. Lundy, they're netting 62.9% inside the arc. That is mind-blowing. Nearly 34% outside of it. They've reached 90 points 7 times this year, and they've gone for 85 or more 8 times this year. In fact, they did that, as I already mentioned, against the Crimson earlier this season. Harvard usually is a pretty good defensive team, but they also love to play at a brisk tempo. You look at Cornell, number 21 at home this season, adjusted tempo. Harvard overall at number 97 in that category, and a very respectable number 88 in adjusted defensive efficiency. Still, given the history, given Cornell's quick trigger, given their ability to really pile up the points on this SGP. Hopefully you're going to come with me. Cornell on the money line. Cornell, 85 or more points against Harvard, plus 145 at BetMGM. With those bets on the board, let's get after it with another edition of the Fade 5.
Number 5.
All right, it's time to drop the puck and make some bucks. Lundy is going to throw out a name that I could spell unless he's shorthanded that there on the screen that you're seeing on the YouTube broadcast. But he is digging the Hurricane. They're going to blow through. And what do you pair that with to give me some plus money? Do share.
Yeah, let's get this into an SGP. First of all, thanks, NHL. Rude schedule. There's one game on the schedule tonight.
That makes no sense.
It just sucks. I got to be honest with you. Tomorrow's slate is great, but there's only one game tonight, and it's down in the desert. The Canes will be there to take on the Arizona Coyotes. These two teams played back on January 27th It's an East versus West, so you do the home and home thing. So this is the second meeting that they will have this season, and this one will be in Arizona. The Hurricanes won the first meeting 3-1, and I think they're going to pick up the victory in the desert again, but they are heavy favorites. They're sitting at about a minus 205 if you want to take them on the money line. So to get us into plus territory, we're going to SGP this bad boy over at DraftKings, and we're going to take Sebastian Aho to have at least 3 shots on goal. Sogs, you see there on the screen. Couple of reasons why I like this with Sebastian Aho. First of all, if you look at what he does over the course of the season, this is a guy that's going to average above this number in the 2.5. But here's the important part for me when it comes to Aho. If you look at the previous game that they had back on the 27th, he did not hit this number. And then if you go back, this is the scary part. If you go back and look at the last game that Carolina played, all right, that was against Dallas. That took place back on Tuesday of this week. Would you like to know, Brad, how many shots on goal Sebastian Aho had in that one? Yes.
15.
Krispy Kreme.
What?
You had 0. So when you take a guy that leads the team the way that Aho does, and the fact that on Tuesday he did not register a single shot on goal, I think this is an opportunity where you see the law of averages play out. I think he hits the 3 mark. I think Carolina gets the win. Put those two together, plus 126 on the SGP over at DraftKings.
Aho, hockey name I can actually say and spell.
Number 4.
Numero cuatro here at the Feed 5 Friday edition of the Countdown. Let's go back to the Ivy League and college basketball. Yale, Penn, give me the under at 138 there with a minus 110 juice available at DraftKings Sportsbook. Yale, the Kings right now of the Ivy League as they bested last weekend Cornell to get the upper hand in that conference. But, you know, it's all about the slow tempo expected in this game. Yale last 30 days, number 235 in adjusted tempo in all of college basketball. Penn even slower at number 276 in that category. Most importantly, too, as good and as balanced as the Bulldogs are, the number 33 EFG offense, number 87 EFG defense over last month, Penn couldn't spit the ocean from like a foot away. They're number 322 the last 30 days in EFG offense. They're only shooting 50.3% inside the arc, all but far worse, 27.6% outside of it. And why is that important? Over 40% of the Quakers' shots are coming from distance. So they are trying to fire off a Quaker gun. You have no idea what that means. Look it up you on the old Google machine. So, yeah, they're shooting blanks. Very bad defensive team as well. But it's all about limited possessions due to the pace of play and the fact that Penn cannot make a damn bucket. Put those two together, 138. I think there's some nice value here on the under. I think this game's going to be around 135, 136. You might be pulling up in the wrong places, maybe praying for a free throw miss or two at the end, but hopefully the Bulldogs blow Penn out and alleviates that concern. So to recap, Yale, Penn, give me the under. 138 minus 110 at DraftKings. Lundy, fade or follow.
Why are you fading the smart kids?
I probably shouldn't do that because they're going to be my boss here very soon.
I'm just saying you're fading the smart kids, and you may be looking at the score, but you just said it yourself. You're going to try to be concerned about not making free throws down the stretch. I'm just saying, you're fading the smart kids. You're fading the smart kids, Brad. You're scaring me. You're scaring me.
Well, I tell you what, I'm scaring myself. I'm betting on an under, which means 95-90 Yale.
Number 3.
Numero tres here on the Feed 5 Countdown. Let's go back to the All-Star Game festivities in Indianapolis. Tyrese Halliburton, a local product there. I say he wins the 3-point contest, and it's plus 575. At least that's what I grabbed it at DraftKings. Maybe down like plus 550. It doesn't matter. It's north of 5-1 odds, and certainly worth a sprinkle at a minimum. He is not the favorite in this particular exhibition. Dame Lillard is, and Dame won it recently. So he's got all that experience underneath the belt, and obviously people are chasing for a repeat for him in this competition. But Halliburton I don't care what he's done in the regular season. I'll give you the background. He's made 3.2 threes per game on 7.9 attempts. That shakes out to easy math, 40% hit rate from way downtown. In this competition, it's all about your style of shot. So I took the YouTube last night. I'm like, Tyrese Halliburton highlights. There is a clip. It's like, I don't know, 15 minutes long of every three Halliburton hit last year. So somebody took an ungodly amount of time to put that thing together, and I sat there and I watched it. I examined it, and it's a very consistent style of shot. He's a bunny hopper. He doesn't elevate, which means in a competition that can be grueling over multiple rounds for jump shooters, I think he has an advantage. His shooting style kind of reminds me, here's an old school name a lot of people may not remember, Dale Ellis. A guy that doesn't get a whole lot of elevation on a shot, but just gets buckets consistently outside. And not only that, he's got to have the backing of the home crowd. So you bake that in, his style of shot, the fact he's shooting 40% of the regular season from way downtown. So a lot of success there in game. And I realize this is a completely different format, but if he gets hot, he drains some of those money balls, some of those Mountain Dew shots for extra points. Halliburton could be hoisting the hardware, and the crowd standing up in full ovation, showering their boy in praise. So I love him. Plus 550, plus 575. I grab this at DraftKings. It doesn't matter. So to recap, Tyrese Halliburton with a 3-point shootout at plus money. Lundy, better follow.
Man, this is kind of like me with the SGA, right, on the MVP, because I don't know. You're talking about bunny hopping and some dude on YouTube. It's
important, man. You can't be a shot elevator.
He has way too much time on his hands. Here's what I did like, and I saw that it moved a little bit. You saw that you can bet on these guys in terms of what their first round score will be, right? You can do an over under. Most of them are sitting anywhere between 19.5 and 21.5. Halliburton's is up to 22.5. I really like him in the first round because I like the idea of the home crowd. He's used to the arena, all those kinds of things. I don't know whether he can sustain it. But this is at plus 575. I could be talked into sprinkling this just in case he gets some home court advantage, but I do kind of like the idea of him going ham in round one.
Ham. Somebody give me some mustard. That sounds delicious.
Number 2.
Numero dos here on the Feed 5 countdown back to college basketball on a Friday, and I say ram it with VCU taking on the Billikens, who are an absolute disaster on the road. Minus 110 juice available on this side at FanDuel Sportsbook. Why do I like VCU? Well, let me give the data to back up my reasoning here. On the road this season, the Rams are 4-1. So they have certainly been road warriors. Now, they're only number 105 EFG offense, but they are numero uno in the country during that 5-game road stretch in EFG defense. So that defense is very well traveled. And you look over the last 30 days, oh, look at this. What a quinky dink. They're also numero uno in EFG defense. So they are consistency kings in terms of guarding the basketball. Over the last 30 days, giving up 44.9% inside the arc and only 23.9% from distance. That's a real stat, folks. I did all the dirty work and I looked it up. They forced a boatload of turnovers. They really attacked the defensive glass. I like this VCU team to blitz St. Louis because the Billikens have been a massive disappointment this season. Yes, the Billies played a very fast pace. VCU does not, evidenced by their number 288 ranking for last month in adjusted tempo. But the Bills, over that 30-day stretch, 225 EFG offense, 216 EFG defense, turnovers on offense have been a major issue. They shoot themselves in the foot all the time. And when you do that against VCU in that high-pressure defense, that leads to sprint outs and easy kiss off the glass buckets in return. So put it all together, man. VCU -5. It seems like a gift from the gambling gods, even though it's on the road. But again, this team is 4-1 straight up away from the Commonwealth. Good sir. -110 juice at FanDuel. Better follow.
See, this is now we're getting into mascot territory because earlier this week I talked about how the you get scared by the friar. You get scared by the Billikens.
He has no soul.
Yeah, the Billiken's worse. It's this weird, it's like something out of your childhood dreams. It's
you know the story behind the Billiken?
Please share.
Some older woman back in like the 1920s had probably a fever-induced dream. Maybe there was like peyote involved or something, and she dreamt up the Billiken, submitted it to the local paper, and it stuck. That is the origin story of the St. Louis Billiken. So it is truly from a dream and likely a nightmare.
Hey, dog, did you see the size of that chicken? I'm with you on VCU. Some of you are old enough to get that reference. I'm with you on the VCU bet. Even on the road, I get nervous when we're talking about road teams, especially this year in college basketball, because road teams have been performing like dog shit, frankly, over the course of the season, especially if they're ranked. But I think this is a matchup spot that VCU can take advantage of.
Again, whether you're dreaming up a Billiken or you're dreaming up ramming it, just go with VCU.
Number 1.
Number uno here on the feed of 5. Countdown my top play on this Friday night is a marquee matchup. It's going to be nationally televised. I think it's on like FS1. New Mexico, San Diego State, a league that you and I love and adore. That is a Mountain West Conference. San Diego State is laying 6.5 in this game, and I do not understand why, which is exactly why I am backing the Lobos plus the points. This line has climbed up at 5.5. Again, inexplicable to me that it was even that high. You look at New Mexico, they have been road tough this season. They are 5-3 straight up. Recently, they won in Reno against a tournament-worthy team, at-large worthy, in the Nevada Wolfpack. I'm not saying they're going to win this thing straight up, but they're going to keep it nice and snug. Over the last 30 days, one of the fastest teams in the country, number 6 in adjusted tempo, number 38 EFG offense, and their defense is starting to improve over that 30-day stretch, number 142. And EFGD, they really are tenacious on the offensive glass, and they can splash them outside, and they get out and defend. Over that last 30 days, they're only giving up 29.6% along the arc. Now, Jaden Ledee is in the National Player of the Year conversation for a damn reason for San Diego State. The dude never skipped a workout, never skipped a protein shake. He is the definition of wide body. He bullies guys in the post, and he can knock down the outside shot. One of the best West Coast players in the country. But who's going to step up and be the ancillary for this Aztecs team? It's going to be Lamont Butler. It's going to be somebody else. I have some reservations. Now, San Diego State 10-0 at home this season, but they're only number 162 inside Viejas in EFG offense. Much slower team. They are going to dictate tempo in this game, try to keep this more half court. They're number 241 adjusted tempo, but they're right in the 140 to 145 range. EFG offense, EFG defense the last 30 days. So again, I'm not saying New Mexico wins this sucker on the road, but plus 6.5, way too high. I grabbed this last night at BetMGM at minus 110. When you go to DraftKings right now, they have a 50% odd boost on this game. So if you want to apply that and reduce the juice to get seduced by the juice, be my guest. Lundy, my top play of the day, New Mexico plus 6.5 in SoCal against San Diego State, minus 110 at BetMGM. Good, sir. Fade or follow.
I will fade. I'll use that 50% boost to take San Diego State and lay the points. By the way, at DK right now, it's down to just a flat 6 from the 6.5. So it popped from 5.5 to 6.5. Now they've middled it, and it's sitting there at 6. One word, 11. That's how many points San Diego State held Colorado State to in their last game in the second half. 11 points. So you're talking about a team that in Ken Palm has the number 10 adjusted defensive efficiency in the nation. I know how good New Mexico is. I don't disagree with you on that one, but I believe what the Aztecs did to the Rammies in their last game is going to carry over. I think that defense will be there. And I think New Mexico, and look, New Mexico's not a 3-point shooting team to begin with. And even if they were, San Diego State's one of the best at defending outside the arc. So I just think you put all of that together. I like the Aztecs at home. I think this is going to be a great game. You're right. It's on FS1 in terms of the national. There's not a lot on the schedule tonight, obviously, because Saturday is always so big for college hoops. But I am actually going to use the 50% boost, and I'm going to bounce to the other side. I am going to lay the points with the Aztecs. I think they win this one by a total of 8, and I think I'm going to be sweating it out late, man. I really do.
I think you will too. I love the backcourt in New Mexico with Jalen House and Jamal Mashburn Jr. Lobos make Lundy feel like a fool. Again, I love it. Plus 6.5. Hey, guess what? It's bonus time. I'm going to look ahead here in a moment to the Saturday slate, though. I have no lines available of college basketball. Going to kind of estimate and give you an early lean on some of the marquee matchups. Lundy's only got one hockey game. We got the All-Star festivities there in Indianapolis. I don't know what the hell he's going to wager on. Maybe tennis, maybe some golf, maybe some pickleball. It's time, Lundy. Let's go. What do you have for me?
Well, I made some money in yesterday's first round of the Genesis from a PGA standpoint, so I think I'm just going to take that money and run. I don't think I'm going to try to double down on any of it. Had a couple of really good bets. There was a bet out there you could make for Tiger to have at least 4 birdies, and I thought, well, shoot, that doesn't matter how many bogeys he has. He just needs to have the birdies, and if you were paying attention, he had 5 of them yesterday. He just happened to couple that with 6 bogeys, and yes, a beautiful shank shot that shows us that he is, in fact, human, and he owned up to it afterwards. I got to give him credit for that one. Let me give you a couple more plays. There is only one NHL game tonight, as I was telling you guys off the top. But BetMGM and ESPN Bet both have a boost tied to this game tonight that I think is worth you taking advantage of. Let me start over at BetMGM. I told you about Sebastian Aho and the fact that in the last game that he played on Tuesday, grand total is 0 on the board. But Sebastian Aho leads Carolina in points, goals, assists, you name it. He is their top dog. So BetMGM has a Lions boost for tonight in this game where they took Sebastian Aho, who, again, leads Carolina in points, and they took Clayton Keller, who, leads Arizona in points. They put those two guys together and said, all we need is 1 point out of each one of them. And they boosted it from plus 130 to plus 160. So I would absolutely take advantage of that. I think it is worth it when you're looking at the 2-point leaders on those teams. But not to be outdone, our friends over at ESPN Bet, and I think this is worth maybe a quarter unit bet, or maybe if you've just got like a free $10 bet sitting in your account that you want to get rid of, ESPN Bet took those same 2 guys, Aho and Keller, and boosted it from plus 600 to plus 800 for them to score. Again, these are the guys that lead their team in points. They lead them in goals. They lead them in every category. So if you're going to give me an opportunity for the guys that are at the top of the food chain on each of their rosters when it comes to doing this, if you're going to give me that kind of a boost, I think I'm going to take advantage of it. So again, I'm doing a full unit bet on the one that is at BetMGM, and that is for Keller and Aho to each have a point. Over at ESPN Bet, the boost is for each of them to score, and that one's up to plus 800. Like I said, maybe a quarter unit, maybe even less, but just something worth sprinkling or using a freebie on when you've got that. Looking ahead to tomorrow, by the way, in the NHL, where they have a packed slate. Really like some of the games that are on the schedule. I'll figure out exactly what to parlay this with. But folks, what do we do when the Ottawa Senators are on the road? We bet yes on the gift, because it is a gift that keeps on giving with the Ottawa Senators. Nobody in the NHL has either had or allowed more goals in the first 10 this season than Ottawa, and it really happens when they're on the road. So I will be looking to pair that up with something tomorrow. I'll analyze it. I'll get it on the spreadsheet. And before I hand it off to the good sir from Illinois, I am out all of next week, folks. I have a milestone birthday next week. I am going to be on an island sipping island-type drinks. So for those of you that follow the spreadsheet really closely, if it's kind of sporadic and somewhat empty, forgive me. I'm going to try to enjoy a vacation. I yield the floor to the gentleman from Illinois.
And happy 21st birthday to you, Lundy, on that marquee occasion. It's going to be one of your first beverages you've ever had in your entire life, at least legally. All right, let's go to the T-Wanos Parlay play of the day on this Friday. Limited action, but of course I can't resist it. It's kind of weak at plus 123 at DraftKings, but I need a damn winner. Give me Cornell for all the reasons I mentioned at the top of the broadcast on the money line. Give me Princeton at home. They're laying 13 against Brown. They're in the upper echelon of the Ivy League. They're going to handle business. Give me Villanova Villanova on the road. Oh, you're saying on the road. Villanova, they're not even a tournament level team. You're right, but they're playing Georgetown. The Hoyas are 1-8 straight up at home, and they're outside the top 300 at home in EFG offense and defense. They suck. The Wildcats are going to win that game. And then give me the OHIO, not Ohio State, because Chris Holtman is jobless for a reason. I'm going to go with the Bobcats on the alt spread of +12 against Toledo. They're on the road, and it's too many points for a team that and Toledo plays zero defense whatsoever. You need more information? Let me give it to you. Number 315 EFGD are the Rockets the last 30 days, and at home this season, number 357. They're as bad as Georgetown and EFGD inside their own home venue. So 12 points. I don't care if Ohio loses this sucker. Just don't get blown out. So to recap, Cornell money line, Princeton money line, Villanova money line, OHIO at +12, all that all spread. Put that together at DraftKings at +123. Elsewhere, and bonus time, looking ahead to Saturday college basketball. Again, I have no lines available for any of these games. I was going to give you some leans. Ken Palm has got UConn winning by 7 against Marquette. If the line is at, say, 7.5, maybe even 6.5 in favor of the Huskies, I'm going the opposite direction, and I'm taking the Golden Eagles and Shaka Smart's club. Marquette is 6-3 straight up on the road this season. Number 24 at EFG offense on the road. Number 69 at EFG defense. They got the best point guard in the country in Tyler Kolek. And not only that, but they are numero uno in EFG offense the last 30 days. As good as Donovan Clingan and friends are, I think Marquette's going to keep this one maybe within a bucket or 3. So keep an eye out on that line, but I'm going to be leaning Marquette there. KU, Kansas, taking on Oklahoma on the road. I'm going to likely lay the chalk. Oklahoma favored by 1, according to Ken Palm. Probably going to be like 1.5, maybe 2. Kansas stinks away from Lawrence. Letty can verify that. His wife is a diehard Jayhawks fan. Here are the numbers to back it up as well. They are 2-5 straight up, and number 211 at EFG defense on the road. Oklahoma's been rather unreliable. They're 13-2 though at home, and inside the top 45. EFG offense, EFG defense. I think Boomer Sooner gets the dub there, and whatever the cover is, 1.5, 2, 2.5, I'll take it. And then finally in the SEC, Kentucky Auburn. Auburn is favored by 10 points. They're coming off a 40-point thrashing of South Carolina at home. Bo Jackson was in attendance. Just an amazing offensive display. Here's how I'm playing this. I don't care what the regular line is. I may lay a little bit on the -10, -10.5 of the Tigers there. But take Auburn to win the SEC regular season title right now. You can grab it at DraftKings at +275. It's a 4-horse race in that conference. Kentucky really on the outside looking in. But Auburn, according to ESPN BPI, has the easiest remaining schedule of all the teams in contention. The remaining schedule, again, Kentucky at home on Saturday, at Georgia, at Tennessee. That'll be a tough one. Mississippi State at home, at Mizzou, which is a disaster this season. And then they finish again with UGA, that one coming at home. Worst, they're going to lose one game. And that being at Tennessee, they could still drop that game and win the league outright. I mean, need a little help. But, man, this team is firing all cylinders right now. They can fly up and down the court. They're top 10 in the nation with the entire season, last 30 days. In EFG defense, Bruce Pearl is doing wondrous things right now with the Auburn Tigers. So I'll take him to win the SEC +275, and I'll lay the chalk. But it's probably going to be 10.5 against Kentucky when it does come out. Why? Because the Wildcats, they refuse to defend. All right, I'm out of breath. We are out of time here on the Fade 5 podcast. Do me a favor. I got a brand new website. It's called thegamingjuice.com. Go there now. This is where the Fade 5 is going to live permanently. All my content as well. Lundy's going to be making a guest appearance too, dropping some hockey knowledge on you in the written word, presumably starting next week. And it's all free as it is right now. Eventually, we're going to have some premium options. I got to figure all that shit out. Right now, we're trying to build up audience and I want to build up interest. So go to thegamingjuice.com. Fresh content every single day. All of my spreadsheet picks are living there as well. My bracket big board, I'm updating nightly, is there as well. From now all the way to Selection Sunday, thegamingjuice.com. Sign up for a free account and start a conversation in the comment section instead of the X, where I'm usually trying to give it to you, I'm going to be offering my opinions and expertise in that forum most often. So it's all about accessibility, it's all about community, and it's all about experiences. TheGamingJuice.com. Also, drop us a rating and review at your convenience. Fade or follow us on the X or at the Gaming Juice. At Noisy Huevos is my X account. At Nate Lundy for all his free spreadsheet picks and all the hockey action he's sure to have on the monstrous Saturday slate. For the dashing and handsome Nathaniel Lundy, I'm Brad Evans. Until next time, as always, fade or follow. That is up to you.